You can go, you can have the promised land, but you can't have me. Now let's be honest today. How many of us would take that deal? How many of us would take that deal if God said, you can have the life that you want, the career that you want, the kids that you want, marriage that you want, the homes that you want, the stocks that you want, the financial security that you want. You can have the promised land, but you can't have me. How many of you would take that deal? How many of us do take that deal? How many of us came here today trying to get that deal? You want the benefits of a kingdom without a king. You want citizenship without rule. You want everything from God without coming to God. You want ice cream without calories. You want six-pack abs without the diet and the exercise. You want the benefits without the relationship. How many of us come to God like that? What is your promised land? What is your promised land today that you were trying to get out of God? What are you coming to God for? Are you coming to God for his presence or for the promised land? What Moses says is no, I'm not going to do this, and I will not do this. From Exodus 1-4, Moses then goes out, or Exodus 33, 1-4, Moses then goes out into what's called the tent of meeting. The tent of meeting was a tent that Moses set up where God would descend, and it says in Exodus 33 that God would meet with him as a man face to face. So Moses goes out to his tent of meeting and begins to have this conversation with God that we're about to read. And he said to him, Moses said to God, if your presence will not go with me, do not bring us up from here. For how shall it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people? Is it not in your going with us so that we are distinct, I and your people, from every other people on the face of the earth? And the Lord said to Moses, this very thing that you have spoken, I will do, for you have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name. Presence changes everything. And presence changes two things about us. It changes our identity and our purpose. The first point, God's presence changes the perspective of our identity. See again in Exodus 33:16. How shall it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people? Moses is saying, we are yours, your people. We belong to you. We are your possession. You claimed us. You made a covenant with us. What happens to us is a representation of you. Moses says we're not going to go to the land without you because who you are is who we are. He didn't go because his identity is tied to the presence of God. I and your people have found favor in your sight. We go together or we don't go at all. The promised land does not define us. You do. We have nothing if we don't have you. It's kind of like this. I know some of you are still trying to squeeze in some beach trips before the real cold comes. I am not a beach guy whatsoever. Too much sand. But my wife is from the beach, grew up on the beach. She loves the beach. It's who she is. She loves the smell of the beach and everything. So guess what we do? We go to the beach and we love the beach. We have a cart of things. We have enough food to feed everyone on the beach. We have a great time on the beach. My son now loves the beach, but imagine going to the beach with no ocean. That's just a sandbox. You're just going to play in a sandbox as an adult. It does not make sense. It's the same thing with the promised land without God. It's just dirt. It's just dirt. It doesn't mean anything. What gives the promised land meaning is the presence of God. What gives your marriage meaning is the presence of God. What gives your career meaning is the presence of God. What gives your kids, your home, your life, your plans, your dreams meaning is the presence of God. Without God, it's just dirt. Without God, your marriage is dirt. Without God, your dreams, your hopes are dirt. God brings meaning. And what Moses is saying here is, you, God, you give us identity, not the things we have or the things we own. Who we are is who you are, God. God, you give us the identity, and if you don't go, we're not going to go. Notice what Moses is doing in this time as he's having this conversation with God. He's praying. He's praying. He's talking to God. In prayer, our identity is expressed. In prayer, we see God for who he is, and we see ourselves for who we are. We see God that he is the creator and the holder of all things, and we see ourselves as his sons and daughters who depend on him for all things.